Hey everybody. Jam Crates here, gonna do another draw stream. Just no hype for it, no promotion for it really. Just doing some drawing. I was doing some drawing and I said, you know what? What the heck? Why don't I just go ahead and stream it? Um we got a big snowstorm on the way here on the East Coast. If you guys know I'm in New York, so we're gonna about to get slammed apparently with a pretty big snowstorm. Starting tonight and then going all day tomorrow pretty much. Um, so that'll be fun. Uh, I mean, it is what it is, right? What are you gonna do? Um, I know I said no promotion, but I'm gonna at least like tweet out so that maybe somebody will notice that I'm actually streaming. Um, I get it, but I should have done that before, and I'm doing it now. So I'm just gonna talk to you for a minute before I actually get into the drawing. So you guys might know what am I drawing? I am drawing my comic book that I'm working on, Mongoose: A Tale of Vengeance. Um, I keep going back and forth on how I'm gonna end up uh, putting this out there, and I have yet to decide exactly, how I'm gonna put it out. If I'm gonna just straight up crowdfund it, or if I'm gonna release it on my Subscribe Star first. Um, I'm just not sure. So we'll see. I'm still working on it. I'm still working on the book. The book's gonna be 64 pages. So I'm on page I think I'm working on what is this, page 43 now? I think I'm working on page 43. Um, so anyway, yeah, so I was drawing, I was upstairs drawing, and I said, you know what? Well, I go downstairs and do a little live stream, draw stream just for the heck of it. I haven't uploaded anything to the channel in a while. Uh yeah, so my wife is actually away. She's at a conference, and that's one of the reasons why this storm is coming at a really bad time because she was supposed to fly home. Uh, Originally, she was going to fly home. What's it called? She was going to fly home on Saturday. She was scheduled to fly home, and she was scheduled to fly home on Saturday, and then like a couple of days ago, they were like, "Yeah, that's not going to happen." So change the flight. So she changed it to today. And then she got a call from the airline yesterday that, the flight for today was canceled. So now I think she's gonna be coming home on, like, Monday, so she's got a couple extra days stuck in Florida, which I guess could be worse. She could be up here with the snow, but then again, she's also not with her family. Although I am glad that it didn't happen, like, she didn't travel in the middle of the storm and get stuck in, like, Baltimore or something on a stop or on a layover or something ridiculous like that. So at least she can kinda plan for having a couple extra days down in Florida. Um, Forgive me, I am tweeting while I'm streaming at the moment. Um, alright, let me just do that. Alright, we'll see if that actually gets any attention, and now I can give you guys my full attention, so that's a good thing. Alright, go away, close, 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 close. Okay. Like a million freaking banners and not banners, tabs open and stuff. Alright, so anyway, now I can actually focus on the drawing. I don't know how long the stream's gonna be because, uh, I will sorry, my desk was giving me a problem. Um, yeah, I'm not sure how long of a stream this is gonna be because, it's the afternoon, my daughter will be coming home from school in a little while. Um, so make sure I'm, like, doing okay, I'm on the right stuff now. So anyway, as I've said before, this is my comic, Mongoose: A Tale of Vengeance. This is the first real attempt at making a comic I've done. Um, Anybody who's been on the channel for any length of time, you guys know that uh, I've been making comics since I was a little kid, and you know, not that those comics are like real comics. Most of them are only like, some were like 7 pages, some were like 12 pages, different things like that. So I mean, it is what it is. But like, I've been doing this, you know, theoretically, like for a long, long time. But this is like my first real attempt at making a real comic for people besides just for myself. Um, so don't forget, like I'm gonna be looking at this at my tablet here. I'm drawing on my iPad. I'm mirroring the screen onto my laptop so that I can share it with you guys. Um, so if you do comment and it takes me a little bit to see it, it's just because I'm looking down at what I'm drawing. So anyway, today was a little bit of a rough day, I think. Like I said, my wife's not going to be home for a while now, unfortunately. Um, so I'm home alone. It's fine. It's me, my daughter, and the dog. We're good. We're fine. But like it's a little sad. Like, and we got a big old snowstorm coming. Thankfully, where I live, I shouldn't have to. And since it'll be on the weekend, I got no rush of any place to go. So theoretically, I should not have to even bother shoveling. I will have to clean my car off at some point. Um, but I don't have to shovel because we rent where we are, and the crew takes care of that. Although we did just get bought, our place just got bought, so we were under new ownership. So I'm hoping that they'll handle it either as well as or better than the previous owners did. Um, so anyway, yeah, I was just like I said, I was feeling a little down, and I was working, I was drawing here, so I said, you know what, I'm gonna stream. Maybe we'll have some fun, just for a quick stream because, like I said, in about a half hour or so, I'll have to get my daughter from school, or she'll be coming home on the bus, depending on uh, if she stays late or not. I don't think she's planning on staying late, so she'll probably take the bus home today, especially since it's Friday. Which also means, since it's Friday, that means that I can talk about things that I don't normally talk about on my channel. I usually only talk comics. Except when I'm doing like a best ever stream or something. I give myself more leeway on streams to talk about different topics, just because I feel like it's more of just a conversation than hanging out and stuff. Um, so what this weekend is, well, it's like I said, today is Friday, and this weekend is the Royal Rumble for anybody out there who's a wrestling fan. Even if you're like a lapsed wrestling fan, I feel like the Royal Rumble is the one event that even if you haven't watched wrestling in years, you can still watch and be highly entertained. Shit. All right, give me 1 second, guys. Okay, well, these are the things that can happen when you're live streaming. Got a phone call. It was my wife. Uh, so anyway, yeah, she had today was the final day of the conference that she was at, and she was presenting today at her conference, and she just called to wanted to let me know how it went. It went really well. I told her I was in the middle of live streaming, so she said, "Alright, go tell them how famous I am." So, y yeah, my wife's famous. She was a presenter at this conference, this really big conference that was happening down in Orlando, for education. Um, I'm gonna bring up my thing again. I was just waiting for the thing that had the phone call on to go away. So, there you go, there's the screen's back. Um, so anyway, yeah, her presentation went really well, so that's good. I'm happy for her. I know she was nervous, but I also know she's gonna do a good job because she rocks everything anyway. Um, and I know she put a lot of hard work into it. It was her and a partner, uh, doing presentation. It's a presentation similar to one they've done before. Whoops. Similar to one they've done before, for, like, smaller audiences, in their school district and things like that, but this was for a large audience in a big old convention, so, you know, obviously, that's a little more nerve-wracking. She also got to be a guest on a podcast, so that was fun for her, I'm sure. I'm not sure when that's gonna come out, that podcast. Um, it's really nothing that would have anything to do with, like, what I talk about here or anything else, simply because, it's focused on education. It's not has nothing to do with comic books or anything, or pop culture or any of that stuff. Um So anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, it's Friday, which means Friday night SmackDown's on, and this weekend, like I said, this Saturday is the Royal Rumble. I have to tell you, I am very happy with the thing that uh, WWE has done with the last few events. It's been this weird thing when they went to Peacock. They started all of a sudden starting all their pay-per-views at 8 o'clock instead of 7 o'clock, which I always thought I thought that was kind of frustrating because they're usually on a Sunday and they started starting them at 8 o'clock, which means they're not over until late, and people got to get up in the morning on Monday. So now what they've done is they're still keeping the 8 o'clock start time, which I'm assuming is for the West Coast. But what's cool is that um, they're not just doing an 8 o'clock start, they're actually having the events on Saturday, which to me is really cool because now you don't have to worry about like, oh, well, people got to get up in the morning and they got to go to work the next day. I mean, obviously, some people still work on weekends. I understand that. I spent many years working on weekends, um, working in retail and such. I've talked about it on the stream before. I worked in a movie theater for a long time. I worked for a mall for a long time. So, you know, these things are open on the weekends and you don't really get weekends off unless you're super, super lucky. Um, or somebody makes a mistake when they're making the schedule. Uh, so I'm really happy though that they're doing these events now. Uh, the Royal Rumble is going to be on a Saturday. It's this Saturday. It's this weekend. And their next pay-per-view, which is Elimination Chamber, is also going to be on a Saturday. So that makes me very happy. I love that they're doing these Saturdays, because I can't tell you how many times, uh, my daughter and I are watching an event on a Sunday that starts at 8, and then we get to about an hour and a half in or whatever, and then she's got to go to bed. She's got to get up at 6 in the morning the next day for school, and she's got things to, and everybody's got to get up in the morning, and so it was just rough. Like it had kind of annoyed me that they were doing that late start like that was frustrating. Um, but now they've changed it, so now they're doing Saturdays, and I'm sure it's kind of an experiment. They experimented with going to the 8 o'clock start, then they've experimented with the Saturdays instead of Sundays. I can see this screen thing is doing this goofy thing again. So hold on, let me it's still all right. Hold on. I'm gonna have to fix that. This happens every now and then with this for some reason. Um Let me just stop sharing for a minute. Yeah, it's like annoying. It does this sometimes. And then I gotta restart the mirroring program. Um it's just one of those things. It's just it's irritating. It happens. It seems to happen every so often. It's kind of frustrating. Um, but I mean, it was a free program, so I mean, really, what could you expect? Let's be honest. Like I don't know, you can't really expect too much. Da-da-da, da-da. And let's see, it should start mirroring again. And then I can turn it back on. So yeah, so I'm excited. Like the Royal Rumble is always one of my favorite events of the year. And like I said, it's one of those events that um even if you're not religiously following wrestling, you can still enjoy it. Share screen. And it's back. Yeah, like it's one of those events that even if you're not religiously following wrestling at the moment, you can still enjoy the heck out of it. It's just fun to see like who's going to come out. Are there going to be any surprise returns of guys or girls who've been gone for a long time? Um, they definitely it was weird this year. They told you a bunch of the women before the event. I don't know if it was a matter of they felt like they needed to spoil. I guess spoil is the word I would use. Spoil the women who were returning. Um, Either because they wanted to get the names out there so that they would hope that would encourage you to sign up for Peacock, or they told you these names that are returning because they've got another or maybe a couple of other really big names that are returning. So it's tons of speculation every year. Royal Rumble time, there's always tons and tons of speculation about who's going to show up, who's going to be there, is anyone going to return. Um, I'll do the tree detail later. I don't really feel like doing that right now. Um, this one, I feel like the scorpion is too small. I need to make that bigger, I think. Um, Although, you know what? I'm going to probably redraw that panel, actually. So that's something I do from time to time as I'm going through this. Like I have my traditional pencils underneath here that I initially did. And if I decide I just don't like something or if something needs to be adjusted because it was just sloppy or just wasn't drawn well, I will go back in and I will do some digital pencils to just make it look better. Like, for example, actually, you can see here on the skull that he's pulling. Let me show you. Like, I'll get rid of the inks for a minute there. See, like, look how terrible that skull looks. Like, that's lame. Oh, come on. This fucking thing. And then I cleaned it up and I made it more like, yeah, I did some digital pencils and then I made it more, actually looks like a real skull. As opposed to whatever the heck that was I had drawn in there before. um, this thing's freaking out again. Seriously, I'm the only one home. It's not like there's like should be any internet issues going on. Frustrating. Very, very frustrating. Let me stop sharing it again for a minute. Wow, this thing's annoying. I really should probably invest in like a better screen mirroring software because this thing is really flippin' annoying. I'm trying to share with you guys, and I'm trying to not do it in like the getaway of pointing a camera at my iPad, which would just be cheesy as hell. Uh, so anyway, I'll just keep talking about the Royal Rumble, I guess. I was really excited. They're bringing like I said, they spoiled like on any other year. They're bringing back Lita. If you remember Lita, she was with the Hardy Boys with Edge. Um, Originally with S.A. Rios, and actually originally with The Godfather. Uh, she was one of The Godfather's ladies at one point. Um, But yeah, she, she made her real, like she got named when she was with S.A. Rios, and then eventually went with the Hardy Boys, and there was the whole thing with Matt Hardy and, Edge and all that. Um, little real life entering into the storyline, uh, which used to happen back in the '90s, fairly often, actually, because they were just trying to do anything and everything to, really, like, just get people talking. But anyway, yeah, she's coming back. She's gonna be in the Women's Royal Rumble this year, and they actually told us that on SmackDown, like, I think it was last week. Um, and that seems like such an odd choice to me, uh, because that would be, like, the pop that she would get, um, as a surprise entrant just seems like it would be ridiculous, and to give that away on SmackDown seems like an odd choice, unless, like I said, they've got something else planned that they think is even bigger, which is possible. I mean, I don't know, but it's definitely a possibility. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely a possibility that they have something even bigger planned, and that's why they gave that away. Okay, so what is the deal going on here? You might be asking yourself, um, with this particular page, and with this panel I'm working on. Our hero, the titular mongoose, um, is he has gone through. If you watched my last draw stream, you saw he was with a leopard, and she was a leopardess, and she was teaching him how to stalk and hunt the way she does. And now what we've got is he's putting together all of the lessons that he's learned. So throughout this story, he goes to a bunch of different animals, and he learns different skills, different techniques. For example, he learns some actual like fighting technique from the secretary bird, who I talked about on the last stream actually a little bit. A secretary bird literally punches snakes. Um, just literally just picks up, like walks around, will grab it with the one claw, with the one like talon, I guess you'd call it, and then just literally makes a fist with the other one and just smacks the crap out of it. Um, and that's how it hunts. So he learns some fighting skills from him. Uh, and then there's also the porcupine that he discovers. The quills from the porcupine are, well, obviously, like, I mean, they know how dangerous they can be, but what happens is he learns from a vervant monkey the idea of how to use tools. So once he has learned the idea of using tools, he learns the idea of, using weapons. And so he is using he's collecting these porcupine quills, and he's on his way to utilize all the techniques, all the lessons that he has learned along the way to now go and actually enact his vengeance. Um, his family was brutally killed. They were brutally eaten by both a crocodile and a pack of hyena, and he is now finally feels like he's at the point where he's ready to go and actually enact his revenge. So he's now collecting his weapons and preparing to do what he needs to do. And this freaking thing flipped out again. Seriously? I gotta get like better mirroring software because this thing keeps freaking out like every time I move stuff, which is very frustrating. Let me tell you, especially when I'm trying to live stream here, like, and that's the point of the software. Like, you would think that it would actually work better, but it doesn't. So anyway, I guess this is annoying. I guess I'll try one more time and we'll see if I can get it to actually stay working properly because this is just freaking annoying, dude. Trying to do a freaking live stream and this thing doesn't ever want to work. Like it just keeps bugging out. Screen mirroring, do it again. So anyway, yeah, he's collecting the weapons. He's getting ready to actually. He's been preparing for this, and now it's time to actually put the plan into motion. And it's time to actually go and seek his revenge. It's time to actually go find these people, seek his revenge, and get his revenge. Come on, StreamYard. Okay, we're back. Yeah, so now he's getting ready to actively go and enact his plan of revenge. So one of the things he's doing is he's collecting different things for a purpose. I mean, you can see him grabbing the skull in the panel I was just working on before, and now he's collecting these porcupine quills. Um, I will say, one thing I did in this story is these porcupine quills are like deadly. They're probably way more deadly than they actually are in real life, but it's also a comic book about a mongoose who's going to go get revenge on hyena and a crocodile. So suspension of disbelief is required for certain things. Um, so yeah, so he's I definitely made the porcupine quills a little OP. Um, but you'll appreciate it. I think you'll appreciate it when you see what happens when he starts using them. I like that pose. That's a good pose. I'm enjoying that. I don't usually say that about my own work. I'm usually incredibly, incredibly tough on myself when it comes to my drawing. But I like that one. This is one thing that I've done a lot of in these panels is drawing the tall grass, the trees, the bushes, all that kind of stuff. And I keep trying to mix it up so that it at least stays fresh for me for drawing it and for the reader as well. I want it to still look good, but I also don't want it to just be monotonous and repetitive or, you know, anything like that. I don't like that one. It's also you're trying to make it look as random as possible. You don't want to do like the every blade of grass is the same. Everything is always going the same direction or things like that. Um, so that's definitely something that's been a little difficult while working on this. Not terrible, like just it's just something that I've noticed as I'm doing it. Um, as it just requires a lot of patience, which thankfully I'm old now, so I tend to have more patience than I did when I was younger, which is why those comics I was talking about before, the ones that I made when I was a kid, they usually did not have any background in the art. It just was characters doing stuff, like, basically. Which I think a lot of people can understand and, relate to. Heck, even some artists now, like, don't like to draw backgrounds, and, some of them do, and you can tell the ones that do because then they make, like, the crazy, crazy I don't like that at all. Um And then they make, like, the crazy, crazy backgrounds with, like, just tons and tons of detail and stuff, and you look at it and you go, "My god, did you spend, like, 3 days just working on the background on this one panel? Like, what the heck, man?" Um, alright, alright. So now as far as the Royal Rumble goes, like I said, even if you don't watch regularly, it's always one you can go back and watch. Like you could just pick a random Royal Rumble from any year, watch it, and it'll be entertaining. Will it be the most entertaining one? Well, no, you never know which one you're gonna get if you just pick stuff randomly. But like I definitely feel like that event in and of itself is just always highly entertaining and always has been. Um, my daughter and I are watching a bunch of old stuff as well. Like we kind of went on a binge while my wife was away this week. We tried to binge some old Monday Night Raws and stuff. We watched SummerSlam. Uh, what was it? SummerSlam '97, Heart and Soul. Bret Hart versus The Undertaker in the main event from Continental Airlines Arena in New Jersey, where the Devils play. That's where they used to play. It's not called that anymore. Um, I was actually there. I was at that event. I had the T-shirt, but over time, obviously, it fell apart. My daughter's so mad at me. Like all my old wrestling shirts, I got rid of at some point or another during life because they fall apart. Like I used to wear them all the time, so they would eventually just fall apart and stuff. And she gets so mad at me all the time when I'm like, "Oh, I had the shirt for that." And she's like, "What? Do you still have it?" And I'm like, "No, it was like freaking 30 years ago. I don't know where it is anymore. It got destroyed." And she's so mad because she would love to have them, like, and wear them, and so I feel bad, but, like, what was I gonna do? Hold on to a shirt forever for a daughter that I didn't know I was gonna have back in the '90s. Um, let's see. Every time I move the screen, that's when this thing decides to start freaking out, so hopefully it'll at least let me do this little detail on the termite mound here without completely losing its mind. So I definitely, as far as the channel goes, guys, I've definitely got uh, some more reviews in the pipeline. I just read a few different books that you might not have even ever heard of, quite frankly. And that's no insult to the creator. It's just the fact of, this is indie comics we're talking about. Sometimes things fly under people's radar. There, certain things can kind of blow up and get a lot of attention. And then there's a lot of the other stuff that just no one even really sees. So I always, I mean, you guys know I try to bring attention to all of it. I wanna talk about, like, the big stuff that everybody's talking about because that's fun, um, share my 2 cents on it, but I also love to and you guys know this, I love to show stuff that maybe you haven't seen or heard of, and I've had a couple creators reach out to me and send me stuff, um, so, I'm happy to share that stuff with you guys soon. I'll be making videos for those things soon, uh and then, listen, I see some stuff sometimes, and if you're a creator out there and you've got something and you'd like to get some attention on it, I saw a guy, he just tweeted, like, "Does anybody wanna read my comic for free, the first issue?" He's working on the second issue, and he just put out a tweet like, "Does anybody wanna read a PDF of my first comic?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll read it." So I read it. And I'm gonna do I said I checked with him afterwards because you never know how people are gonna feel, so after I read it, I just DM'd him back and I just said, "Hey, do you mind if I make a video about it? Do like a video review of it." And he was like, "Oh, no, please do." So I definitely will. Um, so you guys can look forward to checking that out. Um, sometime soon, I'll be getting back on track again. You know how I go. Like, let's be honest now at this point. If you've been following my channel for any length of time, like I'll get on jags of doing a bunch of videos regularly, and then things will kind of sometimes fall off a little bit. It happens. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it definitely happens. um and I got to get back to doing more live streaming. We'll do another we'll restart up the best ever again, and have some fun talking about different stuff there. That's always a good time. We pick different topics. If you guys don't know what it is on the channel here, you can check out the best ever. We pick topics like pop culture topics, not like pop culture topics like current stuff. We talk about old stuff. It's basically kind of like a nostalgia show, where we did an entire episode about Ninja Turtles. We did an entire episode uh, about like the original Star Wars trilogy. We've done episodes about all sorts of stuff, like animated Batman. We did an entire episode about that one. That one goes hilariously off the rails near the end, um, when we start talking about Batman Ninja. Um, but yeah, it's a lot of good stuff. It's a fun. I think it's a fun, entertaining show that kind of just like gives you a chance. The idea of that show is to just feel like you're hanging out with friends talking about nerdy stuff, basically. That's the whole point of that show, is just to have a good time, reminisce about some cool stuff that maybe you liked as a kid, or maybe you didn't even know about it. Maybe it was before your time, but we talk about all sorts of stuff there. At some point, I want to do a Transformers episode because I'm a giant Transformers fan. So we'll get there at some point. I definitely want to do a wrestling episode. I'd like to actually do a few wrestling episodes. I have reached out to a few people about doing that one. We have the regular panel guests that are always on, but for the wrestling one, I kind of want to go a little deeper. So I have reached out to a few people, trying to get just some other perspectives and stuff, because I'd like to do an episode about specifically like the golden, what I would call like the golden era. So like the 80s, do another one about like the attitude era, and then maybe do another one about like ruthless aggression even at some point, like and talk about ECW and that kind of stuff. um because if you guys don't know, like, I was a big ECW guy. We used to go to the shows all the time in Queens. I never went to the arena, never went to ECW arena. I see RC Gates is in the chat. And he says, I jump in the chat and the first thing I hear is Batman Ninja. What are the odds? Yeah, well, I was talking about the best ever. And of course, I was just talking about some of the episodes we've done. And I mentioned the Batman animated, which of course made me then mention Batman Ninja. um, Yeah, I would invite RC. I would totally invite you to come hang out, but I'm probably going to end the stream in about 10 minutes or so because my daughter will be coming home from school. So I'm gonna just keep it going for a little bit longer, and either if my thing craps out or if, it gets too, close to when my daughter's about to come home, so I'll be ending the stream soon. So I was saying, some of the topics I'd like to do on the best ever. I wanna do, like I said, I wanna do a Transformers episode, I'd like to do an X-Men episode. I definitely wanna do wrestling episodes, and I've reached out to a few people. I did a thing, with the wrestling stuff, like, I reached out to some people that I know, um, who I actually know, just from my background in wrestling, and I've also reached out to. I hate saying it like that because it sounds like I was like, "Oh, I was a giant wrestling star." I was not a giant wrestling star. I had a couple of matches. Uh, um, but, I reached out to a couple people I know, and I reached out to some people I don't know. Took a little advice from. I guess you would say it was advice from Gary V, if anybody oh my god, this thing's freaking out again. And just reached out to some people that I don't even know to see if they would be willing to come on and talk wrestling. Um, so we'll see what happens with that with the future. Like I said, I've got some comic reviews coming up. I've got some neat indie books that I don't think people have heard of. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing the screen because now it is like gone completely psychedelic. Yeah. So anyway, for the last minute or so, I'll just talk to you guys, and then I'm gonna end up ending the stream. So yeah, so I reached out to a couple of folks. And it is what it is. Like sometimes people just don't answer you. Sometimes they do. So I'm trying to see if I can get something done, um, and get some special guests on for wrestling episodes because I would just like to do that. Uh, and like I said, I've got comic book reviews coming up. Some new indie books that, truthfully, I hadn't even heard of until people reached out to me, or like I said, the one guy just tweeted about his book, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll read it," and he was like, "Okay, here." Um, So we'll definitely have that going. I'm not gonna turn my camera on right now simply because behind me is not really camera ready. I don't even have my lights on. So anyway, this was just a fun little art stream. I needed to do something. Like I said, it was getting a little rough around here, waiting on the storm to come. RC, I hope you guys are gonna be okay. I know you guys are in the Northeast as well. Waiting on the storm this weekend. While my wife is stuck in Florida now for a couple extra days because of the flights. So, it was nice to just talk to you guys. I'll stream again. I definitely wanna do a stream. I wanna do a couple of live streams. Maybe on Sunday, I'll do a live stream. I wanna get I promised Mike Murphy I would definitely have him on for a stream to talk about his new project. Um, and we'll see what happens. So, anyway, thanks anybody who's watching the replay, anybody who was here live, anybody who actually watched this whole thing, watched me restart my, uh screen sharing over and over again because the stupid thing doesn't want to work today for some reason. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will talk to you again soon. Peace.